Thanks for doing this, Rosamond. We're of course delighted that you've been the Gourlay Professor for 2014. I'm just going to ask a few questions relating to your visit. Given that the business ethics has been taught for a couple of decades now, is there any way to measure its effectiveness, and how would we actually define such effectiveness?
Well, there's a difference between business ethics and corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility is easier to measure because there's CSR reports and there are academic studies to see what the results are, and I've got one or two that I've been speaking on by different professors in other institutions. Business ethics is harder to see what the effectiveness is, but nevertheless in the UK we collect case studies, as you probably know, which we use for our discourses and our teaching and our education. And unfortunately there's been a growth in the unethical business case studies. So whether this is because there's more openness, more media reporting, more transparency, or whether it is that we have lost some of our moral compass, I fear that there's some of the latter, as you know, with greed having come into societies. But it's a good idea, nevertheless, to keep tabs on what is happening, which is why we spend quite a lot of time on our case study database.
Would you like to consider the uniqueness of the Gourlay Professorship and give us some thoughts on that?
Well, first, the generosity of the donation to single out that field and to give sufficient monies that it can be properly done, to bring a visiting professor from another country to engage not only on the subject but with you here at Trinity College and the University of Melbourne. But it was also very far-seeing because, like our own centre, there wasn't very much money going into this field, and there still isn't a great deal. Some business schools and universities are only just waking up to it. So it was far-seeing, and the very high standard at which it has been set for the people that I have met, and the excellent organisation by Trinity College and staff, but also by the Gourlay family themselves, who have been present at many of the important events, and to see them there and to know their interest, and to meet Louise Gourlay for an event at Credit Suisse recently where she actually attended the lecture as well as the luncheon afterwards. So all that sort of support is valuable, but it's, for me personally, it's a benefit, a great benefit, because having started out so early and being a pioneer in the field when it wasn't widely accepted, as I mentioned to Louise Gourlay, it's like an accolade to me personally to have that opportunity and recognition.
And I know you've had a very busy September schedule, but would you like to share with us the highlight or highlights of the visit?
Well, they've been mixed, of course, and that's been one highlight, to have sometimes professional people in law firms, in advisory firms with McGrath, Nicol, in banking, Credit Suisse, and in universities, and more than one university. But the real highlights, I think, have been meeting the city people at the Athenaeum event, and to see it so well attended and the interest in the subject, but also the CPA event, the certified accountants yesterday, when the room was absolutely full, and they were enthusiastic. They were enthusiastic about ethics, about the subject. They asked very good questions, difficult questions in a sense, because they were all accountants, and as much as I have done research in the field, I was having to answer quite difficult questions. But the larger, well-attended events, the Deakin University was also very good, and the Melbourne Business School evening events, they've been warm, but also the smaller ones like Geelong Grammar School was beautifully hosted with the dinner and the warm reception and some of the students there. So in their own way, they've all been highlights. But I think particularly to see such a large congregation and the interest in their questions.
Certainly for us it's been a wonderful visit, Rosamond, so thank you on behalf of Trinity. for all you've done for us this month.
And thank you, as I've said, for the very good administration at all times, and the care and attention at every stage has been very good.
Good
So
to hear.
thank you.